Yeah, because every time I hit the recording button, it's normally when the intro's playing. It's like, oh, I did it again. Then I have to make my sound engineer, good, great
Not
Josh.
today.
No, not today. We don't have to. We don't have to fix that one. See,
Welcome to Making More Money for You with Magnus Carter. Whether you feel that you don't have enough money to start investing or are under the preconceived notion that investing is only for the wealthy, Magnus and his expert guests are here to help you. Now, here is your host, Magnus Carter.
hi everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host Magnus Carter. This is the Making More Money for You show. Of course, it's on Voice America, being broadcasted live, but it will be streamed everywhere in the world afterwards on all your major broadcasts, all your major streaming services. So if you miss it now, you can always pick it up later, and you'll get a notification once it goes live. I want to thank my last week's guest, Michaela, for actually being on the show. After a couple of some scheduling issues, we got everything straightened out. It was a wonderful show. I had a blast with her. I also put on my vision board that I want to own part of a jet one day. So, the flying yacht company is one thing if you're look in business or something that you want to work towards. And if you travel a lot, that might be something worth looking into. But that actually brings us to today's show, which is kind of interesting. I have a guest here that retired at the age of 39. That's kind of unheard of these days. We're all working, we're all worried about the economy, what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there. Are eggs going to go over $10 again? There's lots of crazy things going on. So with me, I have Gianna Romani, from the author of The Day Hustle. Welcome to the show, Gianna.
Thanks, Magnus. I appreciate being here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. One when we first got in contact with this, I'm like, well, we all have to have a side hustle nowadays. Our 9 to 5 jobs just don't cut it anymore. It's okay, we work the 40 hours plus. If your salary, that really sucks because you're working for free after 40 hours and any days off and whatnot. But you started a thing like with angel investing and your book talks really in depth about it. But before we get into those items, let's hear can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I am first and foremost a wife and mom, and I was born in the Philippines, moved to the U.S. when I was 7, and we're now in Florida. So, I think that's the main things. We're enjoying life, having fun, doing things together. Our most recent project is a new food truck. We sell Persian American fusion. So definitely have been talking about those egg prices going up.
Well, food trucks they've been around for since what, the 60s, 70s, or somewhere in that area. Well,
Yeah.
actually probably the 50s with ice cream trucks. But that's a great thing. Everybody's on the go and you go to them and it's like, okay, to get your food, you're done. There's really no cleanup except inside the truck.
Yeah, it's nice to be mobile. And my husband has a passion for feeding people. It's been a real great way to engage with the community. And but we're mobile and we get to be at all the fun spots, events and festivals, and it was something that we thought would be a nice thing to do together.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm a foodie. When I travel a lot, I like to eat local cuisine. No, unless absolutely necessary to go to a chain restaurant, honestly. And food trucks, I've been actually going to more food trucks lately because all the restaurants I've been to, or they're closed, or it's been hard. And food trucks, it seems to be the next thing ever, the next adventure, if you will, in the food
Mhm.
industry. Plus, if you with the social media, I'm sure you use your social media. You have an app, and it's like, oh, we're gonna be here on this day. Come find us, or for advertising.
Yeah, that's been a really cool thing is people follow us because they need to find out where we're going to be from one day to the next. And it's there's an excitement to it. And then again, the camaraderie in the food community, not just from other food truck vendors and restaurants, but from the community itself. We've had a couple of newspaper publications cover us. Just because we're also one of the newest food trucks in Florida, we're introducing Persian American fusion. So never heard of before, and it's been great. So
Oh, that does sound good. That sounds kind of tasty. I'm gonna have to wait till later to talk about food because dinner time is gonna be a little while. So now your book. What got you into writing a book?
So one of the things that we haven't gotten into as far as things about me is, my husband and I, we met in real estate and property management 21 years ago. And, little did I know then that we'd always be in the industry in some way, shape, or form. And we still are now as investors. But I was working a 9 to 5 job ever since I got out of high school. And, even before that, actually, with, working, just as a teenager. And what you don't realize, especially with, things that maybe traditional families teach you, what traditional schools teach you, is, whether a 9 to 5 is really going to get you to where you are now. And just like you said, people need to turn to side hustles, and they already are. Statistics in 2021 was, 30% of working Americans already had side hustles, and that number is just growing, especially with COVID and the Great Resignation and the quiet quitting and all that, all the news surrounding people really realizing that life is short and Social Security is depleting, what have you. So they're turning into side hustles. Now, I wanted to do that as well. I wanted to find a way to really pursue my own passion. I enjoyed what I did, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to pursue my own passion. I wanted to stop paying myself last, aka, stop paying W-2 taxes and, all that stuff that gets taken out of our check before we even get the money in our hands. And so I knew that entrepreneurship and investing was the way to go. But the first thing I said was, I'm a wife and a mom. And, was it responsible for me to quit my day job to be able to pursue this passion of, and whether, and, did I know whether I was going to have a steady income to make sure that food was on the table and a roof was over our head and I could take my kids to the doctor if I had to, with the health insurance, right?
Mhm.
So that's where day hustle comes in. So, forget about the side hustle, because it's either it won't get enough time because you're distracted by your day job, or it gets too much time and you have your day job, your side hustle, then you forget about actually living. You don't get any time for sleep, for fun, for family. You have to, what they say is, work and hustle so hard for 5 years and then you'll be free. So day hustle is basically a combination of the day job and the side hustle. And what we're trying to do is transition you safely from, the 9 to 5 to a thriving business. And so day hustle comes from the subtitle of the book is Receive the Benefits of a Day Job While You Grow Your Side Hustle. So sounds simple, but you might need to wrap your head around it. But basically, imagine a job description.
Okay.
You get this salary, you get health insurance, you get access to 401k. What are your job responsibilities? Not to grow my business, it's to grow your own business. So the 8 hours a day that you're putting towards growing someone else's business, you're already growing a business, just not yours. Those 8 hours, that 40 hours a week, is going to growing your own business, and you're doing what you want. You have control of whether, is somebody going to push you to drive into work when, it was proven that you don't have to in a lot of cases. So that's where the day hustle comes in.
Wow. Well, not even the 40 hours. We'd have to take in the commute time now because a lot of people, jobs aren't where they used to be anymore. A lot of people, myself included, I drive an hour back and forth to
Mhm.
work. So that's 2 hours of my day gone. So that's 10 hours. Plus they force you to eat a lunch while on the schedule. So that's 10 and a half hours. So that's almost a whole day gone.
That's true. That's a really great point. And like you said, a lot of people are working beyond the 40 hours. So for in addition to the commute, in addition to the 40 hours, overtime and whatever, especially if you're salaried where it's not really overtime, that free time that you're saying, it's a lot more. And so this is a phenomenon, as Kevin Harrington, the original shark from Shark Tank, is calling it. That's the phenomenon of angel employment, is what we're calling it.
Okay. Now, angel employment, is that similar to angel investors, but only when investing in companies, startup companies? Or can
So,
you
yeah,
definitely
absolutely. Great question. So angel investors, they invest in startups and companies. Their money typically goes towards the business expenses to help you grow, to help you scale, to get your wheels off the ground. And those expenses are, business expenses, whether it's office supplies, marketing, product research, development. And, it's not providing a solution for the business owners that are afraid of getting out of their 9 to 5 because they don't have the salary, the health insurance, and things like that. So angel employment, the funds are being used to make sure your personal expenses rather than your business expenses are taken care of. So you don't have that distraction as a business founder, and you can focus all your energy and your attention to your business now.
Wow, that would make a lot of things, streamline a lot of things, as long as they perform as well. I'm guessing there's a lot of stringent requirements for this. You have to show so much, um, you know, gains, if you will. Gains are moving
Yeah.
forward, and you have to have a plan while doing all this stuff. So it's just like, hell, hey, I need $300,000. That's what I get paid a year just to start this business.
Yeah. Well, and you bring up a good point, and the intro to your show talks about people being able to invest when they're not necessarily already rich,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And so this is an opportunity for people to invest at, let's say, a lower barrier of entry. So
Okay.
instead of investing as an angel investor or a venture capitalist, where you have to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars right from the get-go, and usually in lump sums, you can invest as an angel employer. So your investment is minimized to weekly or bi-weekly or monthly paychecks to the person you're investing in.
Okay.
But then, and that's one side, right? It's minimizing your risk. And two, you're investing in a company where the business founder is devoting way more time and attention with way more energy because they're not distracted by a 9 to 5. So they're inherently more prone to having a successful business and a business that's going to be successful faster.
Okay.
So very good, two of the very big things that we look for as investors when, considering something to invest in.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely want to make sure you get an ROI when you do invest. Nobody likes taking the losses on it.
Exactly.
That's one of the things that while you're doing this, you're seeing someone grow, but you're also growing yourself and also the return from that investment.
Exactly. And like you said, if 1 month down the road, 2 months, 3 months, you see that the business plan isn't working, you have time to work together to maneuver, to make some changes, to figure out, okay, now that you have these 8 hours a day literally given back to you, what are you going to do with that to grow your business? And so you will know earlier on whether you're going in the right direction or not.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense to me, but I guarantee there's a lot of questions out there
Oh,
to
sure.
do this. So I want to do my best to actually answer the questions or ask the questions for this. So
Yeah.
what are some of the things that investors look for when they're trying to invest in a company like this or in a person, if you will?
Yeah, sure. So first is the application process is going to be sort of like a normal job interview application process. Who's the person that you're considering investing in? What are they making now at their current job that you would potentially be paying them their salary? What are their strengths? A day job isn't necessarily bad, especially if people had that job to learn certain skills. So what's their experience in? What skills do they have? Can it translate to being a business owner? The mindset, obviously, of being an employee versus an owner is different. Um, and then what they're proposing as far as the business that they're growing and that they need you to help them grow even further. Is this something that they truly are passionate about? And, I know passion is something that's thrown around a lot there, but when it comes to growing a business, you really do, because, there's challenges that come up all the time and you need to be in it to win it, so to speak. So these are the things that you look for. And then in addition to that person, you're looking at their business itself. So again, going to that business plan, what are you going to do with the extra time that you'll now have to focus on your business? Where are you going to focus your energy? Did you need more time on marketing? Did you need more time on product development, research, what have you? So, what exactly is your business plan? And at what point, when you potentially get invested in, where's your business profits and where you're trying to grow it? So this is all explained in the book, because we know obviously that it's such a new concept. That was the reason why I wrote the book. We go through all of this, but basically, our goal is for you to grow your current business profits. So your business profits that you're making now as a side hustle, and what those business profits should be and need to be when it's not a business, not a side hustle, when it's your day hustle. Okay. And our goal is going to be, together, our goal is going to be for your business profits to not only grow to a point where it not only covers the salary you're making from your day job,
Okay.
because you want that now as passive income as opposed to ordinary earned income.
Right.
But we also want it to grow to a point where it'll cover the return on investment that we want to make as the investor. So that way you're not ever putting money out of pocket. Like when you get a loan, obviously you're getting that money, but then out of pocket, you need to pay interest on that loan. Well, we're getting you to a point where your business profits will cover, the principal and the interest, so to speak.
Right. So that'll actually be considered a consulting fee then, as it's getting paid back. Am I
Yeah, well,
correct on that?
in this case, we're paying you the salary.
Right. Right.
Yep. And then, I don't know if it's considered a consulting fee, but it could still be considered an interest, just not, it's just going to be interest being paid from your business profits.
Okay. Okay, that makes
That
sense.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you don't want to take away from your capital. As soon as you start taking away from capital, you can't really your business is going to be stuck there. um,
Right.
and the uh the the way forward is always constantly growing and changing,
Exactly. And
expanding.
scaling. Yeah.
Also going into other side hustles that can go with this hustle,
Hmm.
branching out because
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I'm actually doing as well. This new year's it's been crazy busy publishing books. So I'm actually doing
Yeah.
the books. I have the show. It's now more or less what I'm doing is I'm doing my best to monetize it.
Hmm.
So it's actually I want to get out of the 9 to 5. I'm working on getting out of the 9 to 5 by also helping people realize, okay, this is the information that I have used. This is what I've been taught. If you decide to use it, great. And I see that I actually seen that in your book, especially with you being able to retire at age 39. That
Yeah.
is a testament that it works as long as you're willing to put the work in.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not that you don't have to hustle. It's that we're redefining the hustle culture.
Right.
I love the hustle in terms of, working hard, going all in and pushing and making things happen, but not to the detriment of completely putting your life on hold and and not putting time for yourself, not putting time for your family, just for this golden nugget at the end of the or the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Because that's the worst risk, right, is thinking that you have more time.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's a way for us to be able to hustle and still live at the same time. And as far as writing books, like that was actually my dream, Magnus, was I wanted to be a published author,
Okay.
but I was working this 9 to 5, which was more than a 9 to 5. I was working my day job, and then I put my dreams of writing a book aside because I wanted to spend time with my family as much as I could. And I love to eat, so I love to eat, and I had to balance that with making sure that I worked out, and other things. So when I turned 39, I had this like idea in my head that I wanted to retire by 40. Um, but it was just an idea. There wasn't a plan in place. But it was kind of like everything hit when I had my 39th birthday. I had just recently gotten a promotion from my day job, which meant what? More work.
More
They gave me a
work.
new responsibility. So, hey, we're gonna give you a promotion, and we're gonna give you more money with that promotion, but here's more work, right? That's exactly what a 9 to 5 is. You're trading your time for your money. If you want to make more money, you got to work more. That day, my commute was more than an hour each way. I was traveling 2.5 hours to an event that I was doing
Oh
for
my.
that job. Yeah. And then in all of this, I took advantage actually of my time in the road, but I was listening to audiobooks and
Okay.
podcasts. And so I said, okay, well, now I'm 39. Oh my gosh, I have only 1 year left to make this idea actually become real, become true. What am I going to do? I can't, I'm not in a position where I can retire and give up my steady paycheck and give up that health insurance. But I'm about to turn 40. My book has just been left on the wayside. And something happened where all these pieces kind of clicked that day, and the idea of angel employment came to mind, because I was sitting in the car wishing that somebody would pay me this income and the health insurance that was keeping me imprisoned in my day job to pursue what I wanted to do. So I was sitting there saying, okay, well, they always say if you want something, give it away first. I said, well, how can we pay people to do what they want to do? And it just kind of formed in my head right there. Um, After that day, I went home. I talked to my husband about it. We put numbers together as far as how angel employment would work. We talked to our legal counsel, and we said, "Is this legal? Can you hire somebody to not do something for you, but to do something for them?" And so we got all the pieces together. And by that time, I couldn't even wait until I turned 40 anymore. Obviously, I turned 39 in February, and then I retired in June. And when I retired, I was getting a steady paycheck, a steady income. I was the proof of concept for Day Hustle. So I wasn't worried about, again, putting food on the table, roof over my head. I just focused on pursuing my dream of being a published author. I spoke to several publishers. I spoke to a publishing consultant, and I ended up publishing a book 4 months after, because I now had the time to devote to all the pieces it took. Other publishers said it will take a year to a year and a half to go through the process. But 4 months later, we did everything that we had to do. I published the book. It released at #1 internationally on Amazon,
Mhm.
and here we are.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's great work at the time. Great use of your time, honestly, to figure out what you wanted to do. But 2.5 hours, man, that had to be grueling. The grind for
Oh, the
doing.
ride
Oh
drive, yeah.
yes. Oh, that's. I'm
And
like
that's
an
the thing,
hour.
like like I put myself in a position where I took advantage of that time, right? So that was my self-improvement time. I was in the car a lot. So what can I do? Listen to podcasts, listen to audiobooks, things like that. But you know, so with that mindset, I enjoyed what I did.
Mhm.
And so they call it the golden handcuffs, right? Because I was afraid of losing the job security, but they were golden in that I also enjoyed what I was doing. But again, it was keeping me imprisoned there because being an entrepreneur, being your own boss is really what's going to get you to,
Mhm.
the freedom that I think we all seek. And but you have to realize that some people's handcuffs aren't golden. They're rusty. They hate their job. They hate the commute. They hate the people that they work with. So this is a way to not philosophically get over the fear of losing that job security. Angel employment eliminates the fear of losing that job security that you're afraid of.
Okay. That's I was actually in one of those. It wasn't really gold, but it was kind of silverish. It was shiny. It
Mm-hmm.
was still shiny. I was still looking with the shiny stuff. That's why I actually took a better position to make that I would have more capital that I can put towards my publishing and the publishing house
Yeah.
that I and the publishing business I started. So I'm in that boat. I'm making a lot of headway. So, this is great for anybody out there that's looking to actually start and afraid to do it. And that's one of the things when I read your book is like, wait, how can this possibly be legal? That was one of the things I looked at. I'm like, I'm working Y, and I know I can get computer jobs if I really want to go back to computers, and that made me start thinking as well, as
Yeah.
to doing this on top of doing a radio show and whatnot. But gee, we're already at half the show's done. We're
Oh,
already
wow.
we're already at half the show, and we have a lot of great content in
Time
there.
flies when you're having fun.
Oh, it flew by. I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, I have two. It's almost break time. So what we're gonna stop right here. We're
Okay.
gonna take a break. We're gonna listen to some messages. We'll continue talking, of course. And when we come back, everybody, if you have any questions for G about any of this, please call in. The phone number will be on the incoming intro. Uh, if not, if well, oh yes, wow, my brain's really fried right now. So if you're just tuning in, thank you for tuning in. If you are still here, thanks for staying. But we're gonna be back with more great content.
You're clear.
Okay. Too much working.
Wow, that was fast. Jeez.
Exactly. See?
Excellent, excellent. Good questions.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will keep them coming. And great conversation.
Oh, good.
A
Okay.
lot of great content, a lot of great stuff that we're talking about, your books, why to do it, why not to do it.
Yeah,
This
let me
is
know
really
if I talk too much.
no,
Sometimes I'm
no.
like, oh my gosh, have I been talking forever?
No, everything's just fitting exactly where it needs to fit.
Okay, good.
So it's all good. Let's see here. Anything that you want to talk about in the second half that we didn't get to?
No, I think we're going in a good direction.
Okay.
There's a couple things that I can, kind of add to from where we left off. So
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely just keep moving, keep going forward. And I still have a lot of stuff all over the place. uh yes, because after this I have 3 more interviews to do for actually creative writers. So it's
oh
it's
wow.
it's going to be a crazy night. I just hired 7 more people to start writing.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
I'm
excellent.
starting. Thank you. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background with the company, and you were right. I enjoy it so much. Life's been on hold for a little bit,
Yeah,
but I already see the benefits.
good. Good for you. It's good to hear and see people doing what they enjoy and it paying off for sure.
Oh yeah. If you would have said this 3 years ago that I'd be doing this, would not have. I
We are
would have.
coming back.
I would have laughed very bad.
For you with Magnus Carter. If you have any questions for Magnus or his guests, join us on the show at 866-472-5789. That's 866-472-5789. Now back to the show. Here is Magnus Carter.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Or if you're just tuning in, welcome to the show. I have Gianna Romani of The Day Hustle, author of The Day Hustle, and also proof of concept of angel investing for entrepreneurs. It's really weird. If you missed any of the content in the first half of the show, go back and listen to it. If you're looking to actually start a business but are afraid to because of money, finances, health insurance, or just because you don't think you can, honestly, anything is possible out there in this world. Go back, listen to it, and welcome back, Gianna.
Thank you, Magnus. Yeah, I was trying to keep this point in my head from where we left off before the break there. And I was in golden handcuffs. You said that you're in silver handcuffs. There are obviously people that are in rusty handcuffs. But another side to it are people that they don't know that they're in handcuffs. And I didn't realize it for the longest time. There's some people that I talk to now that they're just okay, or that they've accepted, or they don't know any better than working 9 to 5 and day in and day out, waiting for Social Security or whatever retirement plan that they have to pay off, supposedly, when they're almost 70 years old. So, lots of, sides to the coin in terms of where we all are. What I know is that when I announced my retirement, when I turned 39, the biggest response wasn't, I wish I had the money to retire. It was, I wish that I could be a published author. I have this book waiting on hold that's, just sitting there. Or I wish that I really wanted to be successful this or that. And it was just the response from people of this unfulfillment. So if you sit down really and think about where you are now, and are you enjoying what you're doing? Is it giving you a true sense of fulfillment or not? It might be because you don't realize you're in handcuffs. Being in a 9 to 5 is not getting you where you should be financially to pursue your dreams. And so I wanted to make that point that if you don't realize that, a side hustle to being a full-time business owner and to an investor, a full-time investor is, what's going to get you to live a more fulfilling life, then I recommend you listening to podcasts like yours, Magnus, or reading books like Robert Kiyosaki's books. Different things like this. Robert Kiyosaki's books, not just Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is, his most famous one, but listening to the audiobook of Cash Flow Quadrant and Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. These really got the gears in my head turning. That's when I realized, oh, wow, I thought I was doing great in my 9 to 5. I was climbing the ladder. I'm getting paid well, but you're always going to be at a limit. Right. And then, Social Security is depleting. It was never meant to fund our retirement. It was only supposed to, to add to it, but it might not even be there, when it's time. So these are the things, like, we really need to become aware of these things. And I wrote the book so that people could be aware of the resources that could help them, transition.
Absolutely. One of the things is, I have a story. I have a quick story too. One thing when a job is when you look and you see all the sky and everything up there, and it's like, oh, I can reach for it. But a lot of people don't realize is that's a glass ceiling. Mm-hmm. As soon as you get there, you can't get past it unless you break through it. Mm-hmm. I've been through that so many times with jobs. Is I outgrew my job within 3 years because and then they try to get you in this little box and they want to keep you right where you're at because you're doing everything that they want. Right. I've had that. And when I broke through the box, it's like management doesn't like that too much. Yeah.
They want you to stay under the radar and, and all that. And, the flip side of this is when you do know that you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be your own boss.
Right.
It's so easy when you are faced with a challenge to say, oh, like you said, I can just get another computer job. I was
Right.
good at it and get that steady income again. I don't, and so somebody trying to grow a business is always distracted.
Mhm.
And that's what we're trying to solve for you is have that steady income so that, that's not a distraction anymore. And you can focus on, if there's challenges, overcoming those challenges. And this box that you're talking about, right? Like you have to be confident in yourself. As I mentioned earlier, you're already building someone's business.
Mhm.
So all that creativity, all that hard work, you can do for yourself, and have faith in that. Have faith in, in yourself and your capabilities. And when it's to pursue something that you really do believe in, then that's where the fulfillment comes in.
Okay. Yeah, it does, honestly. And a friend of mine, I just had a conversation with her this week, which is very appropriate. She loves doing crafts. She actually just did a wedding photo album. Beautiful work. She
Mhm.
does beautiful work. She her mindset is she would make a lot of money doing like like the craft fairs and going to those things. I'm like, that I t and going to parties and, raffles and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. I'm like, "Okay, that's a good start," but I'm like, "That's very small-minded." I didn't wanna contradict her or anything, but you need to get a website. You put what you do there, you get what you want, and she's like, "Well, why would I wanna do that?" I'm like, "The internet never turns off. The
Mhm.
internet is always open." So, you have so much time at these craft shows, you're taking orders, and then they gotta actually wait after that, or you have to have the specific thing there
Mhm.
for them to buy it, or if not, you lost the sale.
Right. That's so
So,
true.
and I'm working, I'm talking with her because she sees all the things that I'm doing. She's like, I want to be like you. I'm like, okay, these are the things you got to start doing. I'm not going to
Good.
do them for you, but these are guidelines. You can do it however you like. And one of the things that we're talking about, this angel investing, would actually benefit her very much because she's afraid of that. She has 4 kids. She
Right.
has a house, a husband, a
Mhm.
grandbaby now. So it's kind of one of those scenarios, but she's very talented. But like you were saying, G is a little bit less self-confidence about it and worried about what other people think of her work. I'm like, someone's gonna buy it.
Yeah.
There's 8
Well,
billion people.
that's true. And, she's fortunate to have somebody like you. And, that's another thing that we need to remember as people are afraid to leave their day job because they feel like they're going out on their own. And there's so many people out there that are rooting for you and want you to succeed and have resources to help you succeed. That's one of the fears of people leaving their golden handcuffs again, is that. So, and the second thing that I thought of when you were talking was you want to be able to be making money while you're sleeping. That's a great point that you made.
Mhm.
And if otherwise we're always going to be on that hamster wheel. I'm sorry, I hit the table. We're always going to be exchanging time for money. So I love what she's doing. I love the
Mhm.
idea because, the idea of the monetized hobby is
Yes.
one of my favorite things because that means it made sense to make money out of it, but it was a hobby first, which means you love it. You love it to a point where you're doing it on your spare time and you're doing it regularly. That's the definition of hobby. So if you can take um, that activity that you love and then put the business mindset on and put aside the fears of, okay, well, how am I going to, fulfill my responsibilities as an adult, as a mom, as a wife, as a grandma, then that's again where angel employment can really benefit people, and that's what we're so excited about.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely going to share this with her. I know not forcing it down her throat, but the opportunity's there.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like everybody else out there, the opportunity's there. If you want to take it, take a chance.
exactly, exactly. And you know, again, eliminating the fear of what you're afraid of losing, that goes a long way, right?
Right,
You don't have to actually practice the psychological side of it,
right,
again, to be able to focus your energy on just succeeding, then that success can really just come to fruition. The universe is really working for your good. God is, has great plans for us, as the Bible says. So, to keep focus on this great thing, whatever it may be that we want, that would really make each of us happy and live fulfilling lives. That's what I want people to hear when they read the book. And the book acts as kind of like a manual, a guide. It goes through like the mindset or the thought process that I was going through leading up to, you know, leaving my corporate life. So
okay. So is that where the honeymoon life comes into play?
yes, it does. And, the honeymoon life, obviously people might think honeymoon, just about the married couple, but people talk about the honeymoon phase when it comes to their job, or anything else. We coined the term the honeymoon life in terms of the type of life that we are hustling to. Um, and it's a life basically where you don't need a vacation from what you're doing. You're doing things together, whether it be your significant other or people that you enjoy working with.
Mhm.
Um, you're happy, right? Like in the honeymoon phase of a new job, you're excited, nothing can go wrong.
Right.
If you mess up, your boss or your peers are accepting of those, and they're open to teaching you and teaching you again whatever they showed you. So just those things. And then obviously in the honeymoon, you're not working. You don't feel like you're working.
Right.
You're just easy to, it's just love and adventure. And I think you don't have to be married or in a relationship to grasp that concept.
That's that's very that's honestly all true. I met a movie star at one of at a horror convention, and he said the same. I asked him, I'm like, how is it that you can go in and do all these different hours of acting and still have a productive life and still be able to enjoy life? He's like, it's not work to me. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
really not working. And he took that whole philosophy and applied it to everywhere in his life, you know. Um, and when he said that, it really rang out to me. It's like, okay, if I start enjoying it, it's like if I enjoy it, it's not really work. It's actually just doing something I like doing.
Exactly, exactly. And you happen to, be making money and helping other people at the same time. There's just so many things. Like if you just you talked about vision board. If you have a vision board, really, put down what you're looking for, write down, and imagine what it is. What is the life that you envision for yourself?
Mhm.
It really is powerful.
Yeah, and honestly, I had to actually go back. It has to be retweaked every now and then as well because
Oh, for
we
sure.
change. We change as we go through these journeys and
Hmm.
these experiences and whatnot. I actually went when I had my show last week. I went through and looked at it. I'm like, I checked a lot of things off already. I checked off the publishing thing. I published books. My book won an award. You know, it's
That's excellent.
it's
Congratulations.
oh, thank you. And it's one of those things as we're talking right now with the hustle. I can honestly say my side hustle is starting to move into the mainstream of
There
things,
you go.
and it's working. Because as we're talking, I'm like, my mind's thinking, I'm like, it is working that way, and it's starting to go that way. And I got to realize I'm only doing this a year and a half.
Hmm.
So, my time frame and someone else's time frame of talking about doing all this stuff is like, you did this all just over a year and a half, almost 2 years. A
Hmm.
lot of people don't don't even get this opportunity. It takes them 5-6 years to get to where I'm at.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's one
And
thing
that's
oh,
no, go ahead, go ahead.
and that's one thing what I like what the angel employment's doing is it's fast tracking it, if you will. It's taking away
Yes.
that, and you're proof of it. You know, you have the social and family support of it. You know, as you're
Hmm.
doing it, you know, all that makes a lot of sense, and it's everything's needed.
It's so true. And you took the words right out of my mouth. You're fast tracking it, and at the same time, not putting things on hold. We're projecting that if somebody takes the 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week that they're putting or haphazardly putting on their business
Mhm.
into their business, but still get to enjoy life and rest and all the important things that they need to take care of themselves, then how much faster can you grow a business? And so our projections are really good, like 18 months or less, and growing your business profits 900%. That's what we're projecting with the things that we're proposing with angel employment.
Wow, 900% within.
Yeah, and 900%, that's again, because
Jeez.
we're trying to get you to not just cover your $100,000 salary, your
Right.
150,000 salary, but we also want you to make more and to cover our return on investment. So we need you to grow, and not just somebody like you that this lady is so lucky to have, but think of the other day hustlers that you'd be in a network with. We'll all be able to help each other. Somebody that's growing an advertising company might need IT help. So the person that's growing an IT company needs advertising help. So, like Jim Rohn says, your network is your net worth. And
Yes.
we really, our goal is to build this community where people can just focus on pursuing their passions.
Wow, that's that's very powerful, and it's very positive thinking right there that it is out there to help people. That's amazing. That's one tool that you don't hear about, and people don't want to, certain people don't want you to know about this type of thing because they would lose workers. They would lose a lot of things.
Exactly, exactly. I think you know, bosses might not want people to hear about angel employment,
Hmm.
but true leaders, the
Yeah.
people that know that, if somebody doesn't belong in our organization because they're feeling like they're imprisoned, that they're not, being fulfilled, like I said, I was fortunate not just to like my job, but I actually was very fortunate to work for great leaders. And when I told them that I was retiring, it was nothing but happiness for me, because at some point, one way or another, both of us would have been doing each other a disservice by me staying there. And I think most people are out there to be your cheerleader. They want, it's not about competition, but it's
Right.
about, seeing where we can all go, and make this world a better place.
Oh, absolutely. I have a mastermind that does that. We talk of, I haven't been there lately because I took this new position, but it's great seeing them actually. Everybody's starting to see what we all came together to do, actually doing it.
Yeah.
That's one of the first and foremost thing is it's amazing to watch them grow, watch the people grow and actually go through some of the things and um to actually get to where they want to be. And
Hmm.
a funny thing that actually happened to me last week is I know I'm on the right track because I got a job offer that was for a dream company for any IT person as a senior network engineer uh in the Northeast. And as I'm talking to this woman, this recruiter that's trying to recruit me to take the job because I check all the boxes,
Hmm.
is as we're talking, I'm like, I really don't want to do this anymore. I don't want the long hours. I, I moving, I'd have to move to a city again. I'm like looking through all these things. But if you would ask me 5 years ago to go to work for this company, this
Hmm.
global company that's very prestigious, if you will, uh, I would have taken it But now that I'm actually looking at this and doing this, I'm like, I don't want to. I passed. I actually, well, two reasons I turned them down is one, they required the vaccination. I
Hmm.
am anti-vax on that stuff. If you know, personal preference on that, but that's
Hmm.
mine. And the second thing was I don't want to be in IT anymore.
There you go.
so
Yeah.
you know, and I thought about that. We all get distracted, and distractions come from all over, and temptation comes from all over. And what you've done with your streamlining of your retirement, and what I'm doing with the business and growing the business, people out there are some people are already doing that, and they don't realize that they're doing it, and they need to be, told it's you're doing a great job. They are
Hmm.
doing a fantastic job what they're doing. And the people that are struggling a little bit, it gets better.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the essence of the honeymoon life. We all have control of creating whatever life it is we envision for ourselves. If it's something that you don't want to do anymore, what can you do to change it so that you don't have to drive an hour? Or what is it that, you can do to make sure that you do get to do this that that makes you happy and that you're passionate about. So we have that control, and now we also have an additional resource that can make it a little bit easier.
Okay. Well, we're almost at a close here, but I do have a good question for you.
Sure.
Out of all the life lessons that you've learned and things you've been through, what is one life lesson that you've learned way back when that you still institute today in your current life?
Um, I didn't realize it before, but now I can put it into two simple words, and it's just to have faith. I've always had faith before. Like my husband and I, we've been able to make bold moves. We've been able to take risks. We've been able to make things happen, and we just always had faith in ourselves, in God, in the universe, in our plan. But I didn't. It was less conscious back then, and now it's just more conscious. Like, oh well, we have a plan, or we have something that we desire. How are we going to do it? Let's put a plan and then have faith in that plan and pursue that plan, and pursue and have faith in that. Again, there's other people that want us to succeed, so we're going to have other people to help us and to cheer us on. And that's what I'd love people to know, is just have faith in that. Again, have faith in yourself, in the creativity and the hard work that uh, you put blood, sweat, and tears into other people's companies. You can do it for your own company too. And you don't have to sacrifice living now and enjoying life now just to grow a business.
That is that are definitely words to institute in anybody's life out there, including mine. And I'm going to start doing is having more faith. You can never have too much faith. And
No, you
uh,
can't. It really keeps
uh,
it going.
oh, it does. Everything keeps moving forward with it. Well, it moves a lot. The movement forward is a little bit better than without the faith.
So true. So true.
So we're almost at a close, G. And how can we learn more about you, Angel Employment, your book?
Just dayhustle.com. Easy. Dayhustle.com will tell you about the book, will tell you about angel employment itself. You'll be able to see and rewatch this podcast. And then you can also schedule a time to do a side by side with me if you have, questions that you weren't comfortable asking on the show. I'd be happy to do a virtual side by side with you and answer any questions that you might have.
Oh wow, I appreciate that. The listeners out there, definitely if you're looking to start your golden path, if you will, of being your own boss and having the honeymoon life instead of working 9 to 5 for like ever and relying on other people, go check out dayhustle.com. Gianna, thank you for your time. Thank you for being on the show.
Truly my pleasure. I appreciate it, Magnus. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that wraps this show up for this week. Next week, I have a very special guest. I've been waiting over a year to have him on the show. He is a mentor of mine. He's also starting to become a peer and also a friend. Next week, I have Daniel Locke on from Customer Attainment, and we're going to talk about a lot of different things with him. Some things that he's working on, some things that we worked on, and life in general. So tune in next week at the same time, and we'll talk to you then.
You're clear.
Awesome.